My fiancée said, "If you don't like it, then leave," during a fight about her girls' trips. I said, "Okay." She expected me to back down. Instead, I did something that made her beg me to stay. I, 32 male, am a forensic accountant based in Seattle. My entire career is built on finding things that people are desperately trying to hide: embezzled funds, hidden assets, cooked books. I'm the guy they call when the numbers don't add up, and someone needs to follow the digital paper trail to find the truth. I'm good at it because I notice patterns. I notice when the math doesn't math. But for 3 years, I completely ignored the red ink bleeding all over my own life because I was blinded by my relationship with my fiancée, 29 female. We were supposed to get married in 4 months. The deposits were down, the save the dates were on fridges across the country. I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for a wedding that cost more than my first car, while she was working part-time as a lifestyle consultant. Basically, she organized closets for rich people 3 days a week and spent the rest of the time building her brand on Instagram. The conflict wasn't the work, though. I didn't mind being the primary earner. I'm traditional in that sense. The conflict was the girls' trips. In the last year alone, she'd been on 5 of them: Miami, Tulum, Nashville, Vegas, and Cabo. Each one cost about $2,000 to $3,000. She paid for them using her money. But here's the kicker. Her money was only available because I paid the mortgage, the utilities, the car payments, the insurance, and the groceries. Effectively, I was subsidizing her single lifestyle while saving for our married one. I was eating meal-prepped chicken and rice to save for a down payment on a house, and she was eating lobster in Tulum. The breaking point was a Tuesday night. I was staring at a spreadsheet for our wedding budget, realizing we were $10,000 over. I was exhausted. My eyes were burning from staring at screens all day hunting for fraud, only to come home and hunt for spare change in our own budget. "We need to cut the floral budget," I said, rubbing my temples, "or the late-night snack station. We're bleeding cash here, and the contingency fund is gone." She didn't look up from her phone. She was scrolling through Airbnb listings for Napa Valley. "We can't cut the flowers, babe. It'll look cheap. People will talk. Just pick up a few extra freelance cases. You're good at that." "I'm already working weekends," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "I haven't had a day off in 3 months. And honestly, we could save a lot if you skip the batch party in Napa next month. That's another $2,500 minimum." She dropped her phone. The air in the room changed instantly. It got cold. She looked at me with this mix of disbelief and disgust. "Excuse me? That is a non-negotiable. It's my bachelorette. I deserve this." "You deserve a bachelorette," I agreed. "But does it have to be a week in Napa with wine tastings that cost $150 a person? Can't you do something local? We're trying to buy a house next year. I am drowning here." "You are so controlling," she snapped, standing up. "You always do this. You police my joy. My friends are going. I'm going. I'm not going to be the poor friend who stays home because her fiancé is a cheapskate who cares more about a spreadsheet than her happiness." "I'm not a cheapskate. I'm realistic. You've spent 12 grand on trips this year. I haven't bought new work shoes in 2 years. Look at the soles of my shoes." She rolled her eyes, a gesture so dismissive it felt like a physical slap. "That's your choice. You choose to be miserable. Stop trying to punish me for having a life. If you can't handle a woman who wants to experience the world, then maybe you're not the man I thought you were." Then came the line that ended us, though she didn't know it yet. She crossed her arms, smirked, and said, "Honestly, if you don't like it, then leave. Pack your bags and go. See how much you miss me. See how long you last without me managing this house." She turned back to the TV, expecting me to do what I always did: apologize, sulk, go for a drive, and then transfer money to her account 3 days later to keep the peace. She thought she had all the leverage. But something in my brain clicked. It was the same cold, hard feeling I get when I find a shell company in a ledger. The pattern was clear. She didn't respect me. She viewed me as a utility. I was an ATM with a pulse. "Okay," I said. "Okay what?" she asked, sounding bored. "Okay, I'll leave." I stood up. I walked to the bedroom. I didn't pack a bag of clothes. I grabbed my backpack and went to the safe in the closet. I packed my passport, my birth certificate, the deed to the condo, my social security card, and my encrypted hard drives, the stuff that actually matters. I walked back out to the living room. "Where are you going?" she asked, glancing at the bag. "To pout at your brothers? Don't forget to take the trash out on your way out." "You told me to leave," I said calmly, "so I'm leaving. I'll be back for the rest of my stuff later. But actually, no, wait. This is my apartment. I bought it 3 years before I met you. You're not on the deed. You're not on the lease. You're not on the bills." "So what?" she laughed. "I live here. This is my home." "It was your home, but since I'm leaving, I'm taking my support with me." I pulled my phone out and opened our banking app. We have a joint account for wedding savings. I had put in $25,000 over the last year. She had put in $500. I transferred my $25,000 back to my personal high-yield savings account right there in front of her. "What did you just do?" She saw the notification pop up on her phone. Her face went pale. "I took my money back, since I'm leaving." "That's theft," she screamed, jumping off the couch. "No, that's math. I put it in, I took it out. You can keep your $500. It should cover a one-way ticket to your parents' house." "You are insane," she rushed at me, grabbing my arm. "You are not canceling the wedding. Do you know how embarrassing that would be for me? My friends have already bought dresses." "More embarrassing than a divorce," I said, shaking her off. "I'm done. I'm done funding your lifestyle. I'm done being the cheapskate who pays for everything. I'm done with the trips." I walked to the door. "I'm going to a hotel tonight. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to ensure I can retrieve my property and to serve you with a formal notice to quit. You have 30 days to vacate. If you damage anything, I will sue you." I walked out. She was screaming my name as the elevator doors closed. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed at a Marriott downtown. My phone blew up. 47 missed calls, 100+ texts. Texts from her ranged from pleading to rage. "Baby, please come back. I didn't mean it. You're overreacting. Stop being a psycho. I love you. Let's talk." Then the tone shifted. "If you don't answer me, I'm calling the police and saying you hit me." That last text, that was the nail in the coffin. That was the moment any lingering affection died and was replaced by pure cold strategy. I screenshotted it immediately and emailed it to my lawyer, along with a backup to my cloud. In my state, extortion is a felony. Threatening to file a false police report to coerce someone is a crime. The next morning, I showed up at the apartment at 10 a.m., just like I said, but I wasn't alone. I had hired 2 off-duty police officers to stand by as a civil standby to prevent a breach of peace, and I brought my brother to help me pack. She opened the door, eyes puffy, looking tragic. She was wearing one of my t-shirts. When she saw the cops, her face hardened. "Are you serious?" she hissed. "You brought the cops?" "I'm here to get my things," I said, "and to give you this." I handed her a manila envelope. It was the legal eviction notice. 30 days. "You're evicting your fiancé?" she screamed. "Ex-fiancé," I corrected. I went into the bedroom. It was a disaster. She had cut up my suits, every single one. My work shirts were shredded. She had poured bleach on my mattress. The smell was overpowering. The officers saw it. One of them whistled. "Destruction of property, man. You want to file a report?" "Yes," I said. "Absolutely." She stood in the doorway, smirking. "Oops, I was just trying to do laundry. I'm so clumsy. I guess I used the wrong setting." "That's fine," I said, surprisingly calm. "It's all documented. We'll add it to the civil suit. And since the value of the suits exceeds $1,000, that pushes it into felony criminal mischief territory." Her smirk faltered. I packed what was left. My electronics, my books, the few clothes she hadn't destroyed. "You're not really doing this," she said, her voice trembling as the reality set in. "We have vendors booked. My dress is being altered." "Cancel them," I said, "or don't. I'm not paying for them. I've already canceled the checks for the venue and the caterer this morning. The stop payments are issued." "You can't do that. My dad put a deposit down on the band." "Then your dad owns a band for a night. Not my problem." I left. I moved into a short-term rental. 2 days later, the smear campaign started. She went to social media. She posted a long, tearful video on TikTok. She didn't mention the shredded suits or the text threatening to frame me for abuse. She just said I abandoned her out of the blue because I was insecure about her independence. He couldn't handle a woman who wanted to see the world, she sobbed to the camera. He financially abused me. He cut me off without a dime. I have nowhere to go. The internet did what the internet does. I was the villain. People found my LinkedIn. I got messages calling me a narcissist, an abuser, a small man. My boss called me in. "We're getting calls," he said, looking at me over his glasses, "about your character. People are saying you left a woman destitute." I pulled out my iPad. I showed him the text threatening false abuse allegations. I showed him the photos of the shredded suits. I showed him the bank statements of the trips I funded. "Understood," he said. "Do you need legal representation? The firm can help." "I've got it covered," I said, "but thank you." I didn't respond to the TikToks. I went silent. I let her dig her hole. Then she tried to hit my wallet. She hired a lawyer who sent me a demand letter. She claimed promissory estoppel. She argued that she had quit her full-time job. She hadn't. She was fired for attendance 2 years ago because I promised to support her, and therefore I owed her palimony and support for the next year. She wanted $5,000 a month plus legal fees. She also refused to leave the apartment. The 30 days were ticking down, and she was posting stories of herself hosting wine nights in my living room, captioning them "surviving." I needed leverage. The girls' trips still bothered me. The math didn't work. Even with me paying the bills, she shouldn't have had enough disposable income for that level of spending. $3,000 for a weekend in Cabo? She made $20K a year organizing closets. Where was the cash coming from? I did what I do best. I followed the money. We had a shared laptop that she had left in the living room when I moved out. She mostly used her iPad. I had retrieved it during the move. She had changed the password, but she wasn't smart. It was our anniversary date. I logged into her iCloud from the browser. I found her backup messages. I started scrolling back to the dates of the trips. Miami trip. Text to Mark Miami promoter. "Can't wait to see you. He thinks I'm going with Sarah. Make sure the room is under your name so it doesn't show up on any receipts." Mark: "All taken care of, babe. Bring that black dress." Vegas trip. Text to unknown number. "My flight lands at 8. Have the driver pick me up, and please tell me you bought that bag." Unknown: "The Birkin is waiting for you." Cabo trip. This one was the worst. It was a group chat called The Roster. Her friend: "Are you bringing my name to the wedding?" Her: "God, no. He's the wallet, not the date. I'm meeting this guy there. My name thinks I'm going for a wellness retreat. Lol. He's such a sucker. He's home eating ramen while I'm on a yacht." She wasn't just going on trips. She was escorting, or at least she was sugar babying on the side. She was meeting men who paid for the flights and hotels, and she was pocketing the cash I gave her for spending money. I felt sick, physically ill. I had been working myself to the bone, denying myself new shoes, stressing about floral budgets, while she was living a double life on yachts with other men. I was saving for a future she never intended to be part of, really. To her, I was just the safety net, the guy who paid the mortgage so she had a home base between her adventures. But then the sickness turned to cold, hard rage. She wanted a legal battle? She wanted to claim financial abuse? She wanted to claim she was dependent on me? I compiled everything, the texts, the dates. I found the flight manifests in her email trash. I found Venmo transactions from random men labeled consulting or gift, totaling thousands of dollars. The 30 days were up. She hadn't moved. She texted me, "I'm not leaving. My lawyer says I have tenant rights because I've been here 2 years. If you try to enter, I'll call the cops." I didn't reply. I just filed the eviction lawsuit for unlawful detainer. We had a court date set for 3 weeks later. She showed up with her lawyer, looking smug. She was playing the victim to the hilt, wearing modest clothes, no makeup, looking frail. "Your Honor," her lawyer said, "my client was financially dependent on the plaintiff. He lured her into a sense of security and then rugged pulled her. We are countersuing for support and emotional distress. We argue that she has no means to support herself and requires spousal support equivalent due to the length of cohabitation." The judge looked at me. "Mr. Your name?"
My lawyer stood up. Your Honor, the defendant claims financial dependence and destitution. However, we have evidence that suggests she had significant alternative streams of income that she concealed from the plaintiff. We also have evidence of perjury regarding her income statements. We submitted the binder. The judge flipped through it. He paused at the text messages. He paused at the Venmo logs. Ms. Your name, the judge said, peering over his glasses. You stated in your affidavit that you had zero income and were relying solely on the plaintiff for the last 2 years? Yes, Your Honor, she said, her voice trembling. Then can you explain these transfers totaling $14,000 in the last 6 months from a Mr. Sugar Daddy 69, not the real handle but close enough, and a Mr. Vegas Whale? The courtroom went silent. Her lawyer looked at the binder, then at her. He realized he had been lied to. His face went red. That was gifts, she stammered. And the trips? My lawyer asked. You claimed the plaintiff's refusal to fund these trips was abuse, yet here are texts confirming these trips were paid for by third parties. You were not destitute. You were maintaining a second life.
Separate, undisclosed lifestyle. The judge was not amused. Financial dependence claims require clean hands, counselor. Your client has been hiding significant assets and income. This changes the nature of the financial relationship significantly. Eviction granted. You have 48 hours to vacate. And regarding the countersuit for support, dismissed with prejudice. And I am referring this financial disclosure to the IRS, as I doubt taxes were paid on this gift income. She looked like she was going to faint, but I wasn't done. Remember the threat? If you don't answer me, I'm calling the police and saying you hit me? After the eviction ruling, as we were walking out of the courtroom, my lawyer handed her lawyer another envelope. What is this? Her lawyer asked, looking tired. He was done with her. A civil suit for defamation regarding the TikTok videos, my lawyer said, and a copy of the police report my client filed regarding the extortion attempt via text message. The district attorney is reviewing the evidence for charges. Her face went white, genuine sheet-white terror. You can't, she whispered. I'll delete the videos. I'll take them down. Too late, I said. The internet is forever. You tried to ruin my career. You tried to frame me for domestic violence. She had 48 hours to leave. I hired movers to take her stuff out to the curb because I didn't want her inside the apartment alone again. I wasn't risking her planting something or destroying the walls. She sat on the curb with her boxes. Her friends, the ones from the girls' trips, were nowhere to be found. Apparently, when you're not funding the lifestyle or providing the drama, the squad moves on. Or maybe they just didn't want to be associated with someone who was about to be investigated for extortion. She called me one last time while sitting on the curb. I watched my phone ring from the window of my rental car across the street. I didn't answer. I just looked at the contact photo, a picture of us in happier times, and deleted it. She texted, "Please, I have nowhere to go. My parents won't take me because of the embarrassment. I'm sorry. I'll sign whatever you want. Just don't press charges for the text." I replied, "If you don't like it, then leave." Then I blocked her. The defamation suit didn't go to trial. She settled. She had to post a public apology video admitting she lied about the abuse and the financial situation. It was humiliating for her. The lifestyle consultant business tanked because nobody wants a liar organizing their home. The extortion charge? She managed to plead it down to a misdemeanor with probation and community service, but it's on her record. Good luck finding a rich husband or a corporate job with a record for blackmail and a history of fraud. I sold the apartment. It had too many ghosts. Even after the deep clean, I couldn't get the smell of the bleach out of the bedroom, or maybe it was just the memory of it. I bought a smaller place, a loft with exposed brick and no guest room. It's quiet. I'm dating again, but it's different. I check the math now. Last week, I was seeing a new woman. She's a teacher. We were talking about travel. I'd love to go to Italy next summer. I'm saving up for it." "Saving up?" I asked, bracing myself. "Yeah," she smiled. "I have a separate savings account. I'm about halfway there. If I pick up summer school, I should be able to book the flights by August." I almost cried. It sounds stupid, but hearing someone talk about earning their own way, about waiting until they could afford something, it was like oxygen. It's been a year since the Tuesday. I'm still rebuilding my savings. I lost a lot on the non-refundable deposits for the wedding, but it was cheaper than a divorce. I'm still wearing the same work shoes, though I finally got them resold, but I sleep at night. My ex reached out one more time through a mutual friend. She wanted to know if I still had her passport. I didn't. I gave it to her lawyer months ago. The friend told me, "She looks rough, man. She's working at a bar downtown. She asked about you. She asked if you were happy." "What did you tell her?" I asked. "I told her, you're free." And I am. I learned something valuable. When someone tells you who they are, when they tell you to leave because you won't fund their fantasy, believe them. And when you leave, don't look back. You might miss the view, but you won't miss the fall. Subscribe to the channel or I'll audit your Venmo history and send the results to your grandmother. You've been warned.